Good morning, students. In the yesterday's class, we discussed about the Meson and Stahl experiment. I hope you understand that well. If you have any doubts, you can contact me. And in the previous classes, we discussed about the replication of DNA. How in semi-conservative nature, how the DNA is replicating and how it is forming the daughter DNA in the offspring cells. So all these processes we had discussed in the previous class. Today in this class we will discuss about transcription. So what is transcription? As the central dogma theory, it is explaining how the proteins are formed from the DNA. We discussed the same in the previous classes. The DNA will be formed into mRNA, and then from mRNA the proteins will be formed. As you know this process from DNA to mRNA, this process is known as transcription. And in this process, mRNA to proteins, this one is known as translation. This is known as translation and this one is known as transcription. So now today we will discuss about what is transcription, and in prokaryotes how it will be done, and in eukaryotes how it will be done, and what are the different enzymes required for this process, and why the transcription is essential. So all these details we will see. And you have to know the basic point: without the formation of RNA, no protein in the cell will be directly formed from the DNA. You have to know this point. Without this step, even a single protein cannot be formed in our body directly from the DNA. And you have to know another point: the formation of mRNA will take place in the nucleus, and then the mRNA will go outside from the nucleus and reaches to the cytoplasm, and this process, translation process, will occur in the cytoplasm and results in the formation of proteins. And you have to know another important point: this separation, this process is going on in the nucleus and this process is in the cytoplasm. Where? In eukaryotes. This is very important point, and they ask in assertion reason question also. Why I am telling only eukaryotes? What about prokaryotes? As you know that this is the genetic material and this is surrounded by the nuclear membrane in eukaryotes. But in prokaryotes, the genetic material is not surrounded by any membrane. So that's why even the mRNA is formed, that will be present in the cytoplasm only. There is no demarcation between the nucleoplasm and cytoplasm. That's why both transcription process and translation process occurs in cytoplasm only. But that is not the case in the eukaryotes. It is separated by the nuclear membrane. So mRNA formation will take place in the nucleus, and through the nuclear pores it will reach us outside to the cytoplasm, and there the process of translation will be done. So this is the main differences between the protein formation in eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Now we will go into the details of transcription, how the process of transcription will take place. Now broadly we can divide the process of transcription into two phases. Broadly. So first one, process of formation of pre-mRNA by RNA polymerase, and formation of matured mRNA from pre-mRNA. So this is one step. See here, in the process of DNA replication, we had discussed about DNA polymerase. DNA polymerase. That will helpful in the formation of new DNA strands. But here in the process of transcription, that is from DNA to mRNA, from DNA to mRNA, this process here, it is led by the enzyme RNA polymerase. So this difference you have to observe. And the matured RNA, mRNA, is also known as, heterogeneous nuclear mRNA. So HNRNA. It is also known as HNRNA, heterogeneous nuclear RNA. That is also known as HNRNA. This is the matured form of mRNA. So broadly, the transcription process was divided into two phases, up to the formation of pre-mRNA, and after that how the pre-RNA is matured into heterogeneous nuclear RNA. Because without RNA we cannot synthesize the protein. So we have to know how the RNA is forming and how the enzyme acts. Those details we have to discuss. And in this process we have another steps, further steps. What are those? Initiation, elongation, and third one, termination. So what are these steps? We will discuss in detail. So broadly, two steps, and further in the first step there are three sub-steps. So this is about the transcription. We will see the process of transcription in detail. Transcription. Here we have to observe very carefully. I am taking a DNA, double-handed DNA. Double helix DNA. So I am unwinding the helix. Unwinding the helix. This is the DNA. For example, this is DNA is 2.2 meter length. Whole DNA present in our cell. So out of that we need several proteins. So certain segment of DNA will form one kind of protein, and certain segment of DNA will form another kind of protein. Like that, almost all the proteins are formed by this 2.2 meters of DNA. So for example, I am taking only one protein. So how that protein will be formed? So for that, this is a protein. So before the formation of protein, we need mRNA from DNA. So I am taking one segment of DNA, and from that how mRNA will be formed. That process we will see. That is known as transcription. Okay, now I am taking one segment of DNA. That is nothing but a gene, because gene is a functional unit of inheritance. This is very, very important. Gene is a functional unit of inheritance. Gene is a functional unit of inheritance. So now we will see gene only forms the protein. One gene, one protein. Understanding this concept, again we have to know the difference between the prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes, one sequence of DNA, one segment of DNA can form more than one protein. More than one protein. So this segment of DNA we can call that as cistron. So particular segment of DNA which can form a particular protein, that is cistron. So here cistron forming more than one protein. So this cistron is known as polycistronic. Polycistronic. But in the case of eukaryotes, one cistron, that is one segment of DNA, will form only one protein. So this type is known as monocistronic. So this is the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. And you have to observe again two differences. First one is the nuclear membrane is not there, so the process of transcription and translation is taking at the same place, that is in prokaryotes. In eukaryotes, the nuclear membrane is there, so the transcription process is occur in the nucleus and the translation process is occur in the cytoplasm. So that is the main first difference between the process of formation of protein in the prokaryotes and eukaryotes. And here the second difference. The second difference here is one segment of DNA, that is one gene or one cistron. It will form more than one protein. So that type of phenomena is known as polycistronic genes. And in eukaryotes, one cistron can form only one type of proteins. So this is monocistronic. And these two are the main differences. And in the further few minutes, we will discuss another difference. So these differences you have to write at one place. 1, 2, and third difference will also be there. Now, we will take a segment of DNA. This is, I unwinded a double helix strand of DNA. So, for example, this is the 3' to 5', and this is 3' to 5'. This is the DNA, double stranded DNA. So 5' to 3' and 5' to 3'. Now, you can have a doubt. So this segment has to form an mRNA, and from mRNA it will code a particular protein. So what is my question is, either one strand will participate in the process of transcription, either this one or this one. This is the first question. And second question, both will participate in the process of transcription. So what is the fate? Which one? Either one strand or both the strands will participate in the process of transcription. Can you guess? If two will form in the process of will participate in the process of transcription, what will happen? If one will participate, what will happen? And if one will participate, which one? That is 5' to 3' strand or 3' to 5' strand. So this is the discussion here. Three possibilities. Either 5' to 3' strand will participate, or 3' to 5' strand will participate, or both strands will participate. So what is the correct answer? Both strands cannot be participated. Both strands cannot participate. First of all, we eliminate this one. Why? If this strand and this strand will participate, then the RNA will also form as a double strand. 99% the RNA is single stranded, unless until it cannot form a protein, because if it is double stranded, it gets more stability. As we know in the previous classes, RNA is less stable and it is catalytic in nature, and it is responsible for the formation of proteins and highly reactive. So why those characters came to the RNA? Because it is single stranded. If it is double stranded, it gets more stability. So it will not participate in the process of protein formation. That's why the double stranded RNA molecule is not formed, because these two double strand DNA cannot be lead to the formation of RNA. Only one strand. So now this doubt was clear. Now, out of these two strands, which strand acts as a template for the formation of mRNA? That we will see now. The RNA polymerase enzyme, which is play a key role in the formation of mRNA, will act only from 5' to 3' direction. That means it will form the mRNA sequence which is complementary to its DNA molecule. For example, this strand, this strand is running from 3 prime to 5 prime. So if the RNA polymerase is runs in this direction, then only it will forms the complementarity. So this is can be the 5 prime and this can be the 3 prime. So the RNA polymerase will run in this direction, 5 prime to 3 prime, and the DNA run in this direction. For example, if you observe this case, this strand 5 prime to 3 prime, that means DNA is running like this, and RNA polymerase is also travels from 5 prime to 3 prime direction. So this is not possible. They both has to run in the opposite direction. Then only the complementarity will be done, because adenine has to bind with thymine, guanine has to bind with cytosine. But it is RNA. So in the place of thymine, it is replaced with uracil. It is replaced with uracil. So that's why the RNA polymerase is acting on 5 prime to 3 prime direction. So the strand, which is the DNA strand, which runs in the direction of 3 prime to 5 prime, so that will act as a template. So this strand acts as a template strand, and this strand we can call as coding strand. Coding strand. Now we will observe by taking a sequence. For example, I am taking this sequence. Like this. This is 3 prime to 5 prime direction, and this is 5 prime to 3 prime direction. I am writing the complementarity: T, C, G, C, A, C, G, A, thymine, guanine, cytosine, guanine, thymine. So this is a double-stranded DNA. This is a double-stranded DNA. Now we will observe by taking RNA polymerase. If the RNA polymerase is taking this DNA strand as a template, what will happen? So adenine has to, this is RNA molecule. So in that RNA molecule, it will runs from 5 prime to 3 prime direction. Now this adenine has to replaced by thymine, but the thymine is not there in the RNA, so it is replaced by uracil, and remaining same C, G, C, and here thymine is replaced by adenine. Adenine is present in the RNA, and C, G, again adenine, but here uracil in the place of adenine, and see here G, C, G, and here again uracil. Now this is a complementarity, but here if you take the mRNA, the DNA strand is also like this, and the mRNA RNA polymerase will also be like this. So it is not possible here. And for example, another consequence, what is? If both the strands are participating, this is participating separately and this is participating separately. Now we will see the sequence for this one, the RNA sequence. Adenine, guanine, uracil, guanine, cytosine, uracil, adenine, cytosine, guanine, cytosine, and adenine. See here, this sequence is separate, this sequence is separate. So the protein is two different types of proteins is forming, because there are two different mRNA molecules. This is not possible in the case of eukaryotes. Eukaryotes, from one RNA, one segment of DNA has to form only one type of protein. But here, see, two types of proteins are forming, because this strand gives this sequence of RNA, and so due to this sequence, X protein will be formed. And this sequence gives this type of RNA, and due to this type of RNA, Y type of protein will be formed from the same DNA molecule. This is one DNA molecule. So one segment of DNA cannot form two types of proteins in eukaryotes. So that's why it is impossible. So RNA polymerase will choose the strand that is 3' to 5' direction, because RNA polymerase has to direct from the 5' to the 3' direction. So this is what the basic of why the RNA polymerase will choose only 3' to 5' strand. So this strand is known as template strand, and this strand is known as coding strand. I think you can understand now. Now we will see the process of transcription. So again I am taking the DNA 3' to 5', 3' to 5'. So this is one segment of DNA which will give a particular mRNA and which will give a particular protein. So obviously this strand is a template strand. So in a particular DNA segment, it has 3 different regions. So what are those? This is an promoter region. This is a structural gene region. And this is an terminator. So these are the 3 different segments present in a DNA segment. So these 3 are responsible for regulation the process of transcription. Now, how the transcription process takes place? This is RNA polymerase. Now, the RNA polymerase will come and bind with the promoter region. Now, in the promoter region, we have initiation factor. Sigma. Here somewhere this is a protein. In that sequence we have a protein sequence, that is initiation factor. So after RNA polymerase binds to that, it will recognize and it will stimulates the process of transcription. So as a result of that, the RNA polymerase will make complementarity and structural gene here, and it will move up to here. So for example, if it is A, here it is T, U. Like that, all the nucleotides are making the complementary strand, and here after reaching here, it will recognize, okay, the process is done, and now it is the time to conclude the process, to finish the process. Now then it is having another protein, that is termination factor, that is Rho. So this factor will stop the process of RNA polymerase. Now as a result of that, this strand will be formed, that is pre-mRNA. Understanding? This is the process of transcription in the first step up to formation of pre-mRNA. I hope you can understand. The RNA polymerase will bind to the promoter region, and then the initiation factor will recognize and stimulates the further process of RNA polymerase. So RNA polymerase now starts running from 5' to 3' direction and adds the complementarity nucleotides, and it will run along the length of the structural gene. And then after reaching this, the termination factor will recognize, okay, RNA polymerase has finished its process. Now it's the time to conclude or to finish the process. Then the termination factor will be initiated and stops the function of RNA polymerase. So as the process was stopped there, and as a result that the pre-mRNA molecule will be formed. So this is the first step of transcription. Now this pre-mRNA is present still, it is present in the nucleus only. It doesn't have a permission to go outside because it is prematured mRNA. So it cannot, the nucleus cannot allow this prematured mRNA into the cytoplasm. So what is the reason? Because now we will see. Now, formation of hnRNA, heterogeneous nuclear RNA from pre-mRNA. We will see the process now. Now we will see the process how hnRNA, that is matured mRNA, will be formed from pre-mRNA. Now the pre-mRNA is present in the nucleus itself, and before going outside the nucleus, the pre-mRNA will be added by some strands, by some other molecules. What are those? This is 5' and this is 3'. So the molecules, the process of adding this strand to the 5' end, this is known as capping, and this addition is we can call as tailing, is known as tailing. So this is first step. So why and what are the molecules, what are the different chemicals which are added to this strand, and what is the reason for that? That is methyl guanosine triphosphate. These molecules will be added here, and adenylate residues, you have to remember these molecule names. Adenylate residues will be added to this one, because now mRNA is here. If mRNA has to go outside the cytoplasm, here so many enzymes are there in the cytoplasm. They will ready to digest this mRNA. So to protect the mRNA, this capping and tailing will be done. To protect the mRNA, this methyl guanosine triphosphate moieties will be added on the 5' end, and adenylate residues will be added on the 3' end. So to protect the mRNA. Now, again you have to know one thing. In mRNA, another process will be done, that is splicing. So what is splicing? So this is whole sequence of the mRNA. In this sequence also some junk sequences will be there that will not be responsible for the formation of proteins. So that is the junk form. So this junk form has to be removed outside. So that is splicing, and removed and results in the formation of only useful matter. So the junk is known as introns, and coding sequence, that is which is responsible for the formation of proteins, it is known as exons. So in the process of splicing, this introns will be removed. And then these exons will be added, and this is now is called as hnRNA, that is completely matured mRNA. So this is the final step, and now that hnRNA will be released into the cytoplasm, and the further processes is known as leading to the formation of proteins, that is known as translation. I hope you can get it. Again, I will tell you in brief the process of formation of hnRNA, that is matured RNA from pre-mRNA. Now, the pre-mRNA, before allowing outside the nucleus, it has to be undergone some process, that is capping and tiling. Capping will be done at 5' end and tiling will be done at 3' end. So what is the reason for that? To protect the RNA from different types of enzymes, otherwise enzymes will break down the RNA. So as a result of that, no protein formation will take place. So to protect that, the capping and tiling will be done. This capping is done by methyl guanosine triphosphates and tiling will be done by adenylate residues. So after that, what will happen? The junk material which is present in the RNA, that is introns, the intron sequences will be removed, and then the remaining exons will be added. So now that is a fully matured hnRNA. Now that will goes to the cytoplasm and further it will allows the translation. So this is the process of transcription. So the 3' to 5' end of DNA will be selected for transcription, because the direction of RNA polymerase is 5' to 3', so that it can make a complementarity with the DNA strand. So this is the process of transcription, and what is the importance of promoter initiation factor, and what is the importance of terminator, that is terminator factor. So all these plays a very important role, and even mistake in a single step, the sequence will be changed, and as a result of that, new proteins will be formed, which may be very harmful to the body and finally leads to the destruction of the body. So this is about the transcription, and in the next class we will discuss about translation and what are the uses of different types of RNAs. And actually one more point I want to discuss is what is the differences between the RNA polymerase in prokaryotes. And in prokaryotes we have only one type of RNA, that is RNA polymerase, which is responsible for the formation of each and every RNA polymerase. But in the eukaryotes we have three different types: RNA polymerase 1, RNA polymerase 2 and RNA polymerase 3. This is responsible for the transcription of ribosomal RNAs. These are three different: 28S, 18S and 5.8S. And RNA polymerase 2, it will responsible for the transcription of precursor mRNA that we discussed in this class. That is heteronucleus RNA. Precursor is pre-mRNA. So for the formation of pre-mRNA, RNA polymerase 2 is needed. And RNA polymerase 3, it will responsible for the transcription of tRNA, that is responsible for the translation process. So we will discuss what is tRNA in the next class. And 5S RNA, sRNA means small ribosomal RNA. So these are all responsible for the formation of proteins. So for that also we need mRNA. So these are, and snRNA, small nuclear RNA. These are the different types of proteins, RNAs, which are responsible for in both transcription and translation process. So this is also the difference between the prokaryotes and eukaryotes. And the first difference is, in prokaryotes the transcription and translation occurs in the same, because the nuclear membrane is absent, and here it is divided. And the second process is, from one gene, one or more than one protein will be formed in prokaryotes, but in that is polycistronic, and here it is monocistronic, that is one protein will be formed from one segment of DNA, that is one gene. So these are the three differences between the transcription process and translation process between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. And I hope you can get it, and if you have any doubt you can tell me in the chat box. I will try to clarify as soon as possible. Thank you so much.